Hey everyone, this is Nate Lindquist. Welcome to the FlipChick Wealth Academy Group Mentor Call Live. And as always, I'm here with... Wow, dramatic pause, dramatic pause. I'm here alone.
Margaret Wright.
All right. All right. So on this Group Mentor Call Live, we are still in the money series. We're psyched to have you all here, and the turnout is awesome. I'm super pumped that we're here, and we're talking about 3 steps to total financial freedom. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover just some really specific steps that I think you're going to get a kick out of. This is going to hit home some goal setting. It's going to hit home, I think the momentum builders that we're all looking for when it comes to moving from not having flip to have flip, from having flip to having massive passive income, which is like our mantra here in this household.
Yeah.
It's all about the massive passive.
I think sometimes when we are starting out with something, we get all jazzed about what's the ultimate end goal, and then we forget about it and we get stuck in but what do I have to do today? And what we're going to do today is we're going to map out for you the connection between the actions that you're taking today and what your life's going to look like in the very near future when you take those action steps and you follow through and you do what you know is going to give you the life of your dreams.
So the way we want to start, as always, is just to remind you to block out any distractions. I mean, you've made an investment to be here with us every single week. So be ready to ask your questions. Be ready. Go ahead.
You definitely need pen and paper and a calculator.
Get a pen and paper, get a calculator, and you know what? Put your phone on airplane mode if your calculator's on your phone, because, we don't want you to miss this. This is really key. And also, there's 3 things. I'm just going to go back to reminding you about this because this is super important as well. Notice what inspires you, notice distinctions, and notice what action you're committed to taking. And to commit means that you actually put it on your calendar and you do it. That's a muscle that you can continue to work. So we all work on it. And there's a discipline. Have you ever heard that you can't get rid of a bad habit, but you can replace a bad habit? And a bad habit, one of them might be getting distracted. Squirrel or shiny thing disease. It's something that I've dealt with for much of my life, and I think Margaret would agree, I've really worked that muscle and improved it quite a bit.
Much clearer in our life.
Yeah, I think we both have that. When you're you're constantly trying to grow and improve, you have new ideas all the time. Without that focus, you can't be building momentum and making progress. And it's also been said that momentum is difficult to start, but easy to build and hook into.
Yeah, I
because I just want this thought of momentum. When you have momentum to keep it going, you need to focus on what's keeping it going and what got you there, because otherwise, when you lose momentum, you have to start over. It's like trying to get a big rock rolling. Well, it's a lot of work at first, but once it's rolling, jump on for the ride.
Yeah, I think about, we say this a lot in our own lives, and certainly when we're coaching and talking to you guys, the idea of get in line, stay in line. So we're going to talk today about the goal. That's the path. That's the line that you're going to get into and that you guys are in right now. And we're going to give you some incentives, some motivation, some inspiration to stay in line, because the life that you dream of is at the end of this line. And guess what? There's another line that's even better than that. And I think about, sometimes we talk to some flip chicks, and dozens of times I've had this conversation. I want to do the flipping house thing, but right now I just started this multi-level marketing business and I want to see how that goes, or I just got a new job. And, it's this idea that they know that there's a path that can give them total financial freedom, which means living a life that you absolutely love with nothing holding you back. And, they maybe they don't believe it, or somebody else has painted a picture of something, but the reality is, they haven't had success with, let's say, a multi-level marketing business, or they know that there's either a glass ceiling or a limit to the income they can make with their job. Certainly, if you have a job, whatever security you think you have is not there. I can attest to that. I've 4 times gone through a merger with corporate America that I thought was as secure as you could get. And, what we're teaching you is something that is completely in your control. I know we talked a little bit, I don't know if it was on the webinar or it was last week, at a web class, about real estate is really the great equalizer for women. That we were looking at the statistics for the income and the disparity of men versus women in income for different positions. It's ridiculous how much of a difference there still is. I had this delusion that it was equal now, and we looked at the recent stats, and it's not even close. But I'll tell you what, in real estate, we always say women are better at flipping houses. I absolutely believe that. I believe that we can squeeze the pennies out, which means squeeze the profit out of it. And, you're in the right place at the right time. You're here learning how to do this. So definitely pay close attention to today's call.
Yeah, this is a big one. You can't hit a goal you don't have. And I know you've read this on the screen since it's been on there. I'm assuming everyone can see the screen. Everyone can hear us okay. Let us know if the message is coming through. If you're ready, absolutely. Go ahead and right now tell us why you're going to tune in, turn up the volume, and absolutely take what we teach you and implement it. So you tune in, you turn up the volume, and then you're going to implement. The reason that I ask you that is because, it's so easy to be entertained. It's so easy to hear our voice, but this is one session that's going to give you tools that will take you to the next level. So let me know why this is your time.
Janice, love that. The time is now. Yes, it is.
But why, Janice, is this your time? Why is this your time? And every one of you will likely have a different reason. And the question is, is it a bigger reason? Is it bigger reason for you? It's never just about making money. There's a bigger purpose for all of this. And so, and when I say, as you're thinking about, please, I'm asking you to actively type in and engage. We're looking for all of you to step up and be a part of this community and share. So I hope that's just what all of you will do, and I'll be looking to see what comments come in.
Yeah, share. What are you sick and tired of?
Yeah.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Yeah. What are you ready for right now?
Yeah. Is there some person in your life that you want to show up for in a better way? Is there, what is it? What is it for you? Share that with us. And when you write it down, it's gonna magnify that. It's gonna amplify that. It's gonna make that reason bigger. And when you have a bigger reason, you're going to move forward faster. Yep.
And it's like, the story of the mom who, there's a car accident and her child is pinned underneath the car. How does the mom end up with superhuman strength to lift the car off the child? And there's case after case. As a matter of fact, I've seen it. I've seen situations like that firsthand. And there's a bigger reason there. And there's amazing strength that comes behind doing it for someone else because it matters the most. And you're there. It's like a heroic moment. So I'll read the shares. I love that we're having the shares here. You can't hit a goal you don't have. And today we're going to talk about some very specific goals. You want to embed plant these seeds into your mind, because you can't hit a goal you don't have, that you can't see, that you can't feel, taste, touch, know to be true. Every single thing that you create in your life was first experienced in your mind. So we want to give you some very specific things that we're going to put into your mind, so you can go experience them. And that's what tonight is all about. So let's look at what are some of your reasons. So Jesse and Dan, ready for a positive change and to move our life in the right direction. And what I would challenge you to do is write down what that direction is. What specifically are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for?
What do you want less of? What do you want more of?
Positive change is generic. What are you moving towards? What are you moving away from? Like Margaret said. And you move our life in the right direction. Okay. Again, towards what? Let's try to be specific. It's so easy to generalize, right? But thanks for sharing too.
Yeah, and it might be that, right now we're doing one vacation a year and it's for 1 week or 10 days.
And you're on your cell phone the whole time.
Yeah.
So you'd like to go on vacation and you'd like to not have your cell phone, or feel like, it's not like, I'm going to ignore it. It's like, Tony Robbins says, there's no weeds, of course there's damn weeds. But you know what? If you're on your vacation and you're constantly on your cell phone, and actually you need to be on your cell phone, let's eliminate the reason for you actually need to be on your cell phone or be worried about it.
Yeah, maybe it's instead of the weekend being for a couple hours on Sunday because you worked most of the weekend, maybe the goal is that you have a 3-day weekend every weekend or 4-day weekend every weekend. Or maybe the goal is that you're home when your kids get home from school. Exactly. Or maybe the goal is that you have a parent that's sick and you want to take 3 months off so that you can take care of them. You can be with them. You can be by their side.
Or maybe you're ready to buy your dream house on the water.
Absolutely. Maybe you want to take a year off and you want to go live in Tibet and live with the monks and meditate. Be specific about what you would love. Don't let anything with your current circumstances hold you back from your dreams.
And I'll ask you this too, as you're sharing, I want to ask you this. FlipChick, as you all know, FlipChick Unleashed. For the August 12th and 13th. It's coming up August 12th 12th and 13th, well, you'll have the chance, and a lot of other women have bought tickets to have a chance to spend time with us.
Yeah, we better
in person, analyze your deals. And here's the thing: it's not only we better see you there, but here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. If you're really stepping up and you're part of this mission to help us reach 1 million women, so they can all change their lives, because they all have a bigger reason. Quick show of hands: how many of you know that lots of other women also have a bigger reason for having a positive life change, even though we don't know what they are? Quick show of hands. And you could actually inspire someone. Maybe you buy your one ticket and invite your guest, or maybe you're already getting a ticket. I think most of you actually know that you're already getting a ticket, right? Unless you got the elite VIP, which in that case is a different story. But you can bring someone with you, and you could bring your tribe of 10. You could say, you know what? I'm going to make certain that we get 5 tickets and 10 people come with us. Call us up, email us, let us know that you're bringing your 5 people, your 10 people. This is your chance to have a bigger reason. You didn't just do this to inspire yourself and your family. You did this to empower other women, if I'm not mistaken. So I asked that for a reason. How many of you would love to empower and inspire at least one other woman? It's the idea of this chance to help change someone else's life as you change your own. One thing that the pastor at one of our churches that we go to in New Hampshire says, he talks about the power of one. So what if there was one person? What if you took the time right now and thought of one person, and you made certain that they had the chance to learn how to change their life like you are? Something to think about. So, all right, let's do a couple more shares here. Janice says, tired of the same old thing and want to be able to be there for my family. My sister is dealing with stage 4 cancer. So there's a bigger reason. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. And amen to a bigger reason to step up, Janice.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that.
And that's sharing. That's sharing to this FlipChick community.
Right, and that's a lot of us are dealing with stuff like that, and we are here as a community to support each other, to encourage each other, to be a reminder to each other that, guess what, stuff like that does happen in life, and God forbid we wait until it happens to be motivated and inspired to create a lifestyle where we can be there for somebody.
Exactly.
All right, Crystal, having no time, too much to do, no time in the day to actually get things done, and I really want to do in life. So again, Crystal, be really specific. What is it that you want?
Sit down and make a list.
For us, we have certain things that we want in our life. One of them is we go get a massage, couples massage every week. It's not a big deal, and it's really easy to not do it, and it's actually really easy to do it. So be really clear about what it is that you want more of, what it is that you want less of, and start moving in that direction. We certainly will share every resource that we have to help you.
Yeah, we're driven to do this. By the way, one of our biggest reasons to do this is you. One of our biggest reasons to do this is you, because we know that when you step up and do this, you can't help but inspire other women, and there's a chain reaction. All right.
Jennifer says, this time is for me because I want to spend more time with aging parents who have done so much for me.
Awesome.
And that's a huge.
It's a gratitude too. That's not only is that a bigger reason, but it's gratitude, and gratitude is so powerful. Stephanie and Walter, I'm ready for a change. I want my 90-year-old self to be glad that I lived the life I lived. I did the things I dreamed of. I made a difference. Amen. That's awesome.
So again, guys, write down, what are those things? So think about when I'm 90 years old and I'm talking to my great-great-grandchildren, telling them about how I skydived when I was 70 and I went scuba diving last week.
How I did what I wasn't afraid to do. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Yeah. What advice would you give yourself? If right now you could give intense, just specific advice to the maybe 20-year-old version of yourself, what advice would you give? And would you take it today if you're giving it to yourself then? And by the way, I'd love to know, by a quick show of hands right now, how many of you are going to be at FlipChick Unleashed on the 12th and 13th? How many of you are going to be there? All right, we've got 1, 2,
3, 4,
whoa,
5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stephanie and Walter, are you going to be at FlipChick Unleashed?
Crystal, Elizabeth, Janice, you're so close.
Yeah. This is networking with people. There are going to be people there who have money to invest. There are going to be people there who are looking for partners. There are going to be people there who are looking for someone who is stepping up. Are you going to be there? And now, okay, there's a lot of hands going up. Now, the next question is, how many of you can commit to getting your tribe of 10 and making sure you find 10 women to inspire and at least bring one How many of you can inspire 10 and at least bring one? If you find 10 and you get one to commit to showing up, how many of you can do that? Because imagine the inspiration when you have someone sitting next to you who you know you've given access to this opportunity. All right. How many of you are going to reach other women and inspire them to come to FlipChick Unleashed? Okay, that's not a lot of hands. So we're challenging you. If you're inspired, how can you give the gift? Just pick one person and inspire one person to come with you.
You know, it's interesting. I think back to when I was just, a single flip chick. I was one of my kids actually came up with the term flip chick, and it was kind of it was actually Braden. We were talking about. I don't know. It was a funny conversation, kind of in a roundabout way. It was a multi-kid conversation, but I think Braden's the one who first came up with it. But I think back to when it was just me doing it by myself on my own. And then I started talking to a couple of friends about it over coffee. And then I decided to do this little workshop in my basement. And, like when I was doing it alone, I will tell you that the number of opportunities was a lot harder to come by. It was, I worked harder, I'll say. I worked harder to get the resources. And when I started sharing it with more people, you guys are really no different than me. You're women and some couples who decided that you want to make a difference in your life and you're taking action on it. And I know that you're like me in the way that you want to help other people. And every single one of you, we've had a conversation, or Nate's had a conversation with you about your bigger reason why. And I know that for every one of you, it's to give back in some capacity. And creating FlipChick Academy and the FlipChick RIA was all about giving back. And I didn't really think about the residual return that I would get, which is creating an environment of women who also provide opportunities. I have flip chicks who send deals to me. I have flip chicks who have money, who want to partner. I have, you will create that when you start thinking of yourself as a flip chick who's creating her own little inner circle of other flip chicks together.
Yep,
in your local community. Maybe it's across the country. Maybe it's you live in California and you want to start flipping in Arizona, and you create a connection to somebody, or you have a friend or a family member who lives out there, a cousin. I have a cousin in California who's dying to flip houses.
Real quick, if you'd be okay with it, either Bonnie or Ryan and Amanda, there's a couple brand new flip chicks who have joined the call, who may be undecided about coming to FlipChick Unleashed. I wonder if Ryan and Amanda or Bonnie, if you'd be willing, having, where you've been to, or even Jennifer, where you've been to FlipChick Unleashed, or Tiffany, any one of you who might want to share, just raise your hand, who might share for someone who may be undecided about how important it is to
Jennifer,
or Jennifer, any one of you. I think it did say.
Yeah, he's scrolling through the list of names so fast.
I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, Jennifer and Jennifer's, two Jennifers.
Jennifer.
Could you share anyone by show of hands, if you're willing for us to just make you live for a second, to tell someone what FlipChick Unleashed is like and why it's important to be there? Just raise your hand if that's okay. If you want to do a quick share, that'd be really helpful, because I hate to see any one of you miss out.
And there's going to be a challenge for those of you on the call right now who are going to be there. The information, the content that we're going to cover tonight is very, very goal specific.
Bonnie, do you mind if we
measurable.
Bonnie, do you mind if we make you live here? Just let me know if that's okay.
I know some people are on their phone.
Yeah, it's tough to, some of you are on your phone.
We can't unmute you.
Right. Who was willing for either Tiffany or, okay. Oh, no.
You haven't been there yet.
Yeah, Beth's hand just keeps going up. Let me just see here.
Sometimes that happens. People's hands go down and can't come up.
Yeah, Tiffany's on her phone. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
But my challenge for those of you who will be there is that you connect with other women that are in the mentor program, that are working with us very closely, that get this, these insider details, and we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to be checking in with you on the goals that we're going to be covering today.
Ryan and Amanda, are you on your phone right now, or are you on the computer? If you're on your computer and we can make you live.
Or do you have your slew of kids around you?
Ryan and Amanda, keep your hand up if it's okay if we make you live. Is that okay if we make you live? All right.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
We notice sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. It's great to have you guys on always, every week. And
how's your flip?
How's the flip going so far?
Good so far. We have the mold remediation in there now. They should be done, was it tomorrow? Today?
Today or tomorrow. Yeah.
Should be done either today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
And the contractor he's moving fast, that's for sure. So we're hoping to be done in about 2 weeks.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Can I ask you guys something?
Sure.
Do you think that it's possible you wouldn't have this flip underway if it weren't for FlipChick Unleashed?
That's definitely possible.
Yeah, definitely possibility.
For sure, it would not have gone as smooth.
Yeah.
So what would you have to say for anyone who's new to the FlipChick program and to the course? What would you have to say to anyone who hasn't gotten their ticket, or who has a ticket and hasn't gotten their plane ticket, or
thinks they have something better to do that weekend than hang out with us?
Yeah. What would you want to say? Can you tell them a little bit about the experience, what it's like, and why you, if you really think they should be there? And again, this is obviously, you've been in the course for a while now, and you've been working with us, and we've had lots of conversations. So just share what the experience is like for you. Just whatever's on your mind.
Well, if you want to get motivated about this and you want to take it seriously, I would definitely suggest going to Unleashed, because it was definitely an experience to remember. It was, I don't even know the words. It was just awesome, and you leave there pumped, and you leave there with a goal and with determination, and knowing that you have Nate and Margaret behind you. It's almost like you can't fail. So definitely worth it.
What was your favorite part?
All of it.
Yeah. I like the VIP the dinner.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, huh?
The limo ride, and the champagne.
The limo ride in the pouring rain. That was fun.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, because I remember that you guys had a breakthrough at rather early in the event, and you stepped up and you had a share. Could you share a little bit about the experience when you felt like you were really stuck, and you decided that you were going to make a move forward? Could you just share a little bit about that? Because I know that was a pretty intense moment for you too.
Yeah, I think it was, I know for me personally, I was just scared. And I think fear has held me back a lot in my life. Just fear of the unknown, fear to take the next step. If I don't know what's coming, then I'm just not going to push through to the next level. And I had all these different reasons of why I shouldn't or I couldn't right now. And just being there, seeing everybody else motivated and pumped and working together to help each other get through it, I really felt like, okay, I can do this, and I don't need to be afraid, because I have people in my corner who can help me, who've been there before, and I need to step out in faith and just make it happen.
And you were willing to stand up in front of everyone and just wear that red out on your sleeve and say you're ready to take the next step, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it pushed you to another level. I appreciate the share. One thing that I'd like to say is that both of you have, just by sharing right now, it's super helpful. We appreciate it. And I remember both of you also taking part and really asking a lot of questions with the deal analysis and looking at, what the potential is both in your current East Coast market and also in your, a little further inland market up in New York. You started to see some potential when Margaret started looking at, where flips are available, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So what was it like seeing a live deal analysis and seeing how to work through that to find the best property to flip?
It was definitely helpful. It definitely, you definitely learned something, because before that, I had no idea what I was looking for. I had no idea, where to look, what to look for.
It kind of brings it into reality, like, oh, okay, this is my area. It's not like somebody else's, oh, that's good for them, they can do that and make it work for them. But when you see it in your own backyard and you know that it can work for you right where you are, it's like, okay, I really can do this. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you guys sharing. I think that when someone's new to FlipChick, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much information. Can someone just give me the money to do a flip? I want to make this happen. And I think there's a tendency probably to not know that when you follow the formula and you position yourself to get a lender or to, put down earnest money like you both decided to do, and to put yourself out there and take a step forward and create that certainty. Until you've really done that, you're not going to get a house under contract. You're not going to flip a house. So you guys have been bold. Obviously, you've signed up and are part of our mastermind group, which is just really exciting. And so thanks for sharing. We're proud to be your mentors, and I really appreciate you guys stepping up and sharing.
Yeah, send us more pictures on the RIA. We want to see the progress.
Yeah, share progress with us.
Oh, okay.
I know. I have a bunch of pictures I need to post.
We're going to see you both at Unleashed, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we're trying. We're making it work. We're planning everything out. Yes.
Yes.
You guys are awesome.
Hey, you should carpool with some other people on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Are you carpooling with Bonnie?
No, actually, we didn't even think of that.
Yeah, you guys should carpool. Bonnie's like, I'm taking a damn plane.
So listen, here's our path. You're at this city, or the city, jump in our back seat.
So any of
We
you
have 3 seats.
Any of you who might
Available.
be excited or think that you have to go out and ask for the money to get a flip underway, or think that you might have to, you guys both know that opportunity is created by getting a flip with the profit in there and then presenting it to a possible lender or a money partner. So you know that profit is attractive, right? You've now found that out firsthand.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Equity is beautiful.
And doing that, that's what gets you into the game. You're not a player unless you're in the game. So we're going to go ahead and mute you. Thanks. You guys are going to love this. We're sharing this topic for a reason, so we're just going to go ahead and dive in.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so you can't hit a goal you don't have. Let's go ahead and jump in. By the end of today's call, stay tuned, okay? Really stay tuned in. 1, you'll understand the cause of financial insecurity and the cure.
Meaning, you'll have the cure.
You-
You'll understand it and get it.
But you're going to know what the cure is. You're gonna have the cause of the cure. You're going to know that you are the cause instead of the effect.
Mm-hmm.
2, you will have a clear map of when you will have achieved financial freedom. Quick show of hands. How many of you would like to have it? If all this call did for you with just those 2 things, would that be worth it? Show your hands. Quick show of hands. Okay, that's everybody. Okay. 3, you'll know the strategies you can begin using now, today, to fast track your road to total financial freedom. All right? Awesome. So stay engaged, stay focused, and let's just jump to the next step. Step 1, the cause of financial insecurity, not knowing what does or does not make you feel secure financially. Wow. It might sound too simple, but the fact is, if you don't know what does or does not make you feel secure financially, then you don't know if you will ever have that comfort level or not. And let's go further into this with a reality check. We all have rules about what must be in place for us to feel comfortable and secure. These aren't
maybe it's a dollar amount in the bank.
Yeah, I used to have this rule. I used to have a rule. At one point, I had a rule where I had to have $500,000 in cash in the bank, even though I had millions of dollars of business going on. It sounds crazy, right? But I had to have $500,000 of liquid cash in the bank to feel secure. And then as I had more deals going on and I started investing, it shifted to I have to have $250,000 in the bank. And what happened was, and this sounds ridiculous and in somewhat irresponsible, I actually would use credit cards because of these rules and I would carry debt on credit cards so I could keep my liquid cash higher to make me feel better about myself.
Right. So earning what, 0.5% in your liquid cash and paying 15% in credit card.
Yeah, and some of my and the cash that was in the bank, I was not making money on it, okay? Because my money that was invested, that was great. I was making money on that, but my money that was sitting in the bank, that's not even an investment. That's like worse than a pillowcase.
Yeah, so think about what these rules might be for you.
Yeah, what is your reality check?
It might be that you need to have a job that pays a certain amount and you get a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or, once a month. I remember I went to, back when I was in corporate world, I used to get paid every week. And then I went to a job that paid once every 2 weeks. And then I went to a job that paid once a month. And it threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, I've got to really, plan around things. And then I started thinking in monthly terms and, we're going to talk a lot about what you're making a quarter on our call this tonight.
Yeah.
And it's, again, we all have little rules that maybe we don't even realize that we have that are, contributing to our security or insecurity, whether we're meeting those rules or not.
Right. So what you want to look at, and again, first of all, do you actually know what you need to have to cover your basic needs when it comes to finances? Because financial security is, hey, I've got to have this money so I can take care of this stuff. You want to be able to pay the bills, right? And we're going to get into that. The other thing I want to ask you is, do you have rules that are unrealistic or not supportive in creating your financial security? So if you have a rule that if you don't make by the time you're 40 or 30 or whatever it is for you, right? If you haven't made $1 million, or if you're not getting $100,000 a year as a salary, then you don't have financial security.
And on the flip side of it, maybe you're making $100,000 a year, and you think because you have a job that's paying you $100,000 a year that you don't have insecurity when it comes to finances. You think, my paycheck is so much that I don't have to think about money.
No one can take that away.
Yeah,
It's my salary. I'm doing a good job at my job.
I thought that too until my boss came in one day. I remember the first time it ever happened. It was my first job out of college. I'd been there for a while, and my boss called me into the office at the end of the day. It always happens at the end of the day. And he said, we're having it was a startup company, back in the early 2000s, and a tech company. And he said, we're having some challenges with getting our next round of funding. So we're asking everybody to cut back to 4 days a week. And I was a single mom trying to put food on the table. And just, the fear of, I thought I was doing great. Like, finally, I landed the job that pays enough that I have extra money and I can put my kid in karate finally. And then, this blow of, holy crap, he's asking me, to cut 20% of my income. That was my fluff money. That was when, just over broke. Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah, that's right, Jennifer. Don't worry about it, Beth. Happy hands are okay.
So I was a little bit delusional thinking that, when I first got into this corporate world, that was the be all end all, until I realized that my boss, or, in this case, it was the venture capitalists that were investing in the startup company were really controlling. And what happened to a couple of the other guys, they actually lost their job that day. So I was offered 4 days a week. They lost their jobs. And for me, it was a huge reality check of like, holy crap, my job is not secure anymore.
Yep. So you want to look at what your rules are, and there's rules in everywhere in life. So this is a great tool to just write down. You put this into your notes. You've got your notebooks out, because all of you are playing your A game right now. Write down and go consider this after this class, okay? Do you have rules that are unrealistic or not supportive in creating your financial security? What are your rules? What are your rules about relationships? What are your rules about family? What are your rules about money? What are your rules about your health? I have to be able to run 3 miles every day, or 10 miles, or I have to run a race. For me, I used to have this rule. If I can't run under 18 minutes in a 5K, I'm unhealthy. Can you imagine what that did as I got older, started working more, and wasn't running every day? I'd go up for a 5K, and I'd kill myself trying to get, under 18 minutes, and I'd run like a 23-minute or a 22-minute 5K, and I felt like a loser. And the thing is, it was a good run.
Yeah. So
it wreaks havoc on your self-image and your self-worth when your rules are out of whack. Okay, so just go ahead and give yourself time to consider that.
Okay, so next we're going to do a reality check workshop. So I need you to have your calculator or your iPhone or your whatever kind of phone you have with a calculator on it. So we're going to calculate for you this is your getting by. This is my, my basic needs are met. This does not include getting your nails done, or Nate put in
I think it's way cooler to get your nails. It does not include getting your nails did. Or your hair did, or going to the salon. So
these are, we're gonna take a step back, and I'll share with you one of my rules was that my kids had to go to private school. So I was barely able to pay the rent, but my kid was going to private school. So it was a little bit of a reality check, and
I know we can't eat, but let's get the kids to private school.
Yeah. So. I'm gonna put a little disclaimer here. We are not asking you to lower your standards. We are absolutely creating a life that you can have everything that you want. The first step is that you understand what your basic needs being met looks like from a financial perspective, so that you can create passive income, so that your security, that your basic needs are met, it's going to cover all of that. So we're going to calculate that number for you or for your family right now. So get a notebook, get an Excel spreadsheet. This is the one time, Big Brother Nate over here is not going to be checking that we're assuming that you're all with us, and write down, these are your basic expenses. So what is your mortgage or your rent? So we're talking about maintaining the quality of life that you have today. So what do you need for your mortgage or your rent? Write that number down, add these numbers up. If you don't know these numbers, then girl or / flip couple, you guys need to know your numbers.
By the way, I'm throwing something in that you weren't expecting, because I think this is an awesome little exercise. You go ahead and go through this first, and then I'm gonna share something called fear setting, which was a game changer for me.
Awesome.
But you go ahead.
Okay,
how many of you would like to, before we go forward, because I want to check. I don't want to just do this arbitrarily, but I will anyways. How many of you, quick show of hands, would love to learn how your fear right now, like with regard to your financial security, could be your greatest tool? Just real quick show of hands. How many would like to learn something called fear setting? Okay, I'll teach that afterwards.
He's very good.
Oh, that's everyone's hands. This is awesome. Oh, now Beth,
Except
the
for
one
Beth.
time
Beth,
where's your happy hand, Beth?
Beth has no control over
She's
her
like,
hands
no,
right now.
it's happy, it's up, it's down, it's sideways. Okay, cool. We'll do that afterwards. Go ahead, Margaret.
Okay, so you see the list in front of you. I want you to add up your mortgage or your rent, whatever your utilities are, your insurance, your home insurance, health insurance. This is my public service announcement. I'm going to be your mother for a minute. If you don't have life insurance and you have a family, promise me that you will call somebody tomorrow and get some life insurance, because I have seen too many people very close to me that left way before we thought it was their time. And I've seen the huge difference between somebody who had life insurance and they were able to move on, to be able to take care of their kids, make sure their kids go to college, to actually, I'm going to try this. I have to put my game face on, and I'll share this without crying. But my sister-in-law, I lost my sister-in-law last year. And thank God my brother and she had life insurance. And what he did is he invested in real estate. So I helped him buy a 4-unit apartment building, and he just bought 2 condos in the last month. And now he has the income, nothing will replace her. We would, we all say that we would give every penny that we have to get her back, but we know that can't happen. So we look at how do we provide a life. I had my nephew with me this weekend. We were up at the Wisconsin Dells, and I had my little nephew with me. He's 4 years old, and it was his mom. He lost his mom, and thank God they had life insurance, because my brother is not stressed out about. It was months before he could even function enough to go back to work, and he has now rental income. He has a portfolio of rental properties so that he can take care of his 3 boys. And it's worth $100 a month to make sure that if God forbid something happens to you, that the people that you care about, the people that you are taking care of right now, are still taken care of when you're gone.
What Margaret's sharing is also noted as the power of contrast. It's when we hear the stories of tragedy, like what she's sharing, that we become aware of, oh my God, maybe I should call someone who's in my family and tell them I love them. Or maybe I should have life insurance. What is it that you haven't done or haven't put in place because you think, oh, that can't happen to me?
Right. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll
someday.
do it when I'm older. I'll do it.
And how about this? You want to live a life that you love, right? And you haven't bothered to write down anything we're talking about. If that happens to be you, and I doubt that any one of you in this level of a class would do that, but you know what? It's okay if when you become 60, 70, 80 years old, you can say someday, and you'll know that someday might have to be crammed into just a few years because that's what you got left.
I love the reference to my 90-year-old self talking to, what you've done. And I think about things like, hey, how great would it be to pay for your kids' college and your grandkids' college and your great-grandkids' college? Like, that's the kind of legacy that we're talking about. So insurance needs, making sure that you've got those. So these are your basic living expenses. that you've got car insurance, you have an automobile. It's, so I put numbers in here just so that we could, during our example in this workshop, be able to talk numbers specific as we're going through and mapping out this path that you guys will be taking. But I want you to put your numbers in. So what is your mortgage? What are your utilities? What are your insurances? Your car expense, your food expense. This is, again, it's not, you're going to say, oh, well, my expenses are so much higher than that. I promise you ours are too, but we're talking about what is the amount that if I couldn't work anymore, if I couldn't show up and provide anymore, what is the amount that has to be paid so that we can survive? This is a survival number. And I'll tell you, something changes when you know that you have passive income for survival. When you have passive income for survival, something shifts in your mind, something shifts mentally, that you don't worry about some things. And maybe it's even subconscious that you worry about things. So what is your number? So these numbers that I put together, it's $3,500 a month. It's a pretty basic number. So what's your number? So I'm going to look at, I'm in charge of the
oh God. What do you want to do?
I want to see. So hands down.
All right, I can put the hands down.
Okay,
I got
can
control.
put the hands down. Okay, so by a show of hands, have you calculated your number? What is the number that you need, your basic, this is what I need to survive, this is what I need
Beth's
to
in a
live.
cold sweat right now, like, how do I get that hand to do what I want it to do? It's flopping all around over there. All right.
So do the calculation. We'll wait.
Yeah, actually do this.
And if you have any questions, we'll check questions too.
This
is the, it's my basic survival. I'm not going to become homeless,
Beth aired on the side
I'll
of throwing in a
calculate,
comment.
yeah.
It's calculated.
Awesome. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Okay. So take your number, and I have an assumption. So in the middle of the page, you see there's the assumption. The assumption is that you are following, you're here with us, not because you just enjoy our company, but you actually are learning and following the flip and flow formula. So that is high level, flipping one house per quarter, give or take, acquiring one rental per quarter, give or take, that cash flows $500 per month, give or take. And I say give or take because, maybe you've got one that's $300, maybe one is $700. The more you do, the more you'll average it out, and you'll be making $500 a month per unit. So what I want you to do now is calculate the number of units that you need to create passive income. This is income that if you lost your arms and legs is still coming into your account.
Can I make a clarification here?
Yeah.
So some of you have big dreams, goals, wishes, what you would loves, and okay, we're not going to discount like all of the what you would loves. I've talked to several of you who say, this is what I want my dream house to be. And some of you have said, this is where I want to be by the water. And some of you have said, I really want to change my living circumstances. Okay, we're teaching how to flip real estate and then how to create passive income from creating getting investment properties and building a portfolio. Your dreams and whatever you choose to invest in for different aspects of the quality of your life are, the what you would loves for other areas of your life. But I just want to make it clear, the reason we're sharing this specific calculations, is so you understand the vehicle that can get you the financial security. So that's what this is about.
Yeah, it's we call it the practical side of wealth creation. So if you just want to go buy your yacht, there's nobody becomes wealthy overnight. It's a process. Wealthy people do it the same way.
And there's an order of operations.
There's an order of operations. The first one is eliminate the fear. So insecurity, financial insecurity creates fear. When you have fear, you can't focus on abundance. You can't be thinking about abundance and have fear at the same time. So we're eliminating the fear by creating the first step of financial security. And I know this isn't sexy and exciting, and we're not even talking, as we're going through these numbers, we're not talking about the actual wealth that you're creating in the assets, because you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets. What we want to do right now is, very first step, make sure that you never have to worry. You never have to think about money again. That's the first step. So again, the assumptions, you're following our process. So now calculate the number of units that you need for your family or for yourself to create the passive income, to close the gap, to create that financial security and have your basic needs covered every single month. You never need to have a job again. And I know a lot of times we talk about divorce your day job and replace your income. This number is either your income or less than your income. So a lot of people say they're living paycheck to paycheck. You know, the truth is we could all probably live on half of our paycheck, and maybe it wasn't that many years ago that we were living on half of our paycheck. I remember making $12 an hour and being excited about it, and that was my paycheck, and somehow I managed to survive and still send my kid to private school. So in our example that we gave, so $3,500, our assumption is $500 a month. So to create financial security, so your financial security number is what we're looking at. Your financial security number of units is what I want you guys to calculate right now. So I'm going to, Nate, technical guy.
What do you want to do?
So I would like everybody, so I'm assuming that you're following along and you're doing these calculations. Just give us the number. How many units do you need for your family to have financial security? So when you have, in this example, 7 units, you don't have to worry about if you're unable to work for 6 months or for a year, or if you decide you want to go to India for a year. Okay, a lot of 8 units is very common. 6.5 units. I love those half units.
Is that anything like 1/4 kids?
We'll call it, yeah, 2.3 kids.
Ouch.
We'll call that half unit a studio. All right, 14 units. Good.
I love how we can have this mentoring call, and many of you hear us talking about our conversations and think, "Uh-oh, they're using me as an example," and I love that. Like some of the notes that we're seeing here, I think, and some of the comments we're saying, we're talking to you.
So Tiffany said 88, then she said, "Oops, 8, not 88." I was like, "Damn, girl." Wow. 88 to replace. You got some expensive lifestyle.
Well, it's because of the jet.
All right, so yeah, she's got to pay for Jeeves. All right, so
do tell.
Between 7 and 14 units. So everybody, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for playing full out. And I'll tell you that I started with, guess how many units? One unit, and then I had 2 units, and then I had 3 units. And before you know it, especially when you start to compound, and I won't go into huge detail about that, but when you start compounding, it's going to happen sooner than you realize. So when we map it out, I'm gonna go through exactly.
That was brave.
I know, I clicked a button without Nate's permission.
Good job.
So when I map it out,
I'm a little working on this other thing.
I want to explain exactly how. So 7, actually a lot of you had 7 or 8, so you can follow this pretty closely. Those of you who had higher numbers, that probably means you have a bunch more kids like we have, which is completely understandable. So here's the way it's going to work. The first quarter, you're going to buy your house and you're going to flip it. And you're going to have no rental income because you don't have a rental yet. You're going to flip it, and at the end of the quarter, so the end of the first 3 months, you're going to buy your first rental property, which is going to now bring in $500 per month. So at the end of your second quarter, you've now banked $1,500. And then at the end of the third quarter, $3,000. Fourth quarter, you guys can follow. You guys can read. $4,500, $6,000, $7,500, $9,000. So that's how much income you are getting each quarter. So after 7 quarters, your quarterly income is $9,000. So if there's any questions, I know when we talk numbers, sometimes it can get a bit confusing. I tried to really make it as simple as possible. So every quarter, you're flipping a house, you're buying a rental property. That rental property brings in $500 per month, which means $1,500 per quarter because a quarter is 3 months. So every quarter, it's like you're giving yourself a raise of $1,500. So if you need, 7 quarters will be 21 months. So that's your income.
Is everyone there? Okay, real quick before we move forward, because we want to take you right along with us. Any of you are stuck? Anyone a little bit unclear so far? If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand.
It says, have I made it easy enough to understand?
Okay, we got a question.
Beth might be happy hands.
Okay, Elizabeth, we're going to go ahead and unmute you.
Hey, Elizabeth. Oh, are you on your phone?
Let's see if Elizabeth's here. No, it is. Let's see.
You have to unmute your phone. Oh, hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm on my phone.
Okay.
It's working. It's working. Good job.
Oh, great.
Elizabeth, go ahead and ask your question.
Now, the question I have is, you were referring to the FlipChick formula.
Mm-hmm.
That material,
I heard that.
the archive that I'm going through.
So
Sorry?
if you're, I know you're new, and how far have you gone through the modules on FlipChick Academy?
I'm on module 1.
Okay.
And sometimes.
Elizabeth, can you hear me okay? Elizabeth?
Yes, I can. I have a call coming in, that's why.
Good. So you just want to see this?
Yes, I can.
The financial freedom formula, the 8 steps, starts with the first one, which is the one that talks about setting up your LLC, the foundation. It's the rubber meets the road training. And
correct.
Okay, so that's the 8 steps of the financial freedom formula.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I've gone through that. I need to go back and listen.
You know what? Can I tell you something, Elizabeth? And this is we're gonna keep.
Yeah.
Don't get bored by fundamentals. Like one other thing, based on something that I've seen. Do you mind if I share something about your post on? Was it the RIA?
I got your email, Elizabeth.
Oh, an email. Do you mind if I share a little bit about your email about funding? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so when you look at how you package, the idea of making an investor's packet, and my guess is you probably haven't gone into the library and watched that yet, or have looked at the how to create your investment packet. I'm going to share that. Binge watch the training. Go through every single video in that training, because, and I think everyone knows this, who's been through the training and who's heard us enough times, because I know you're brand new, so everyone say hi to Elizabeth.
Welcome, Elizabeth.
Welcome.
From everybody.
Welcome. We got all these women want to support you.
Thank you.
You're going at some point. You're going to ask for the money, but the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a profit center, and that means getting a house under contract. If you're going to be in the game of investing in real estate and flipping, anyone who's going to partner with you is looking for you to have a profit center and create an investor's packet, and at that point to demonstrate your understanding of your deal and all of the intricacies of what makes that deal profitable, valuable, and that's something that you know is a good business, smart, savvy business investment. So you're not asking for the money. You don't ever ask for the money. What you do is you present an opportunity that attracts the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
If it doesn't make sense, this is
Makes sense.
This is a spoiler alert. Your emails that you sent me this week have inspired me that next week's training is going to go into detail about how to create that attractive investors packet, so that people are saying, hey, how can I get in on that deal? Instead of you asking for, how do I get a credit partner or a money partner? People are saying, hey, you have a great opportunity. How can I be part of it? So this is good because I needed to reach out to you. With your permission, can we analyze your deal and your opportunity on next week's Monday call?
Absolutely. Wow, nice.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, first of all, we're really proud of you for taking the initiative to reach out to us, okay?
So for the rest of you, Elizabeth is brand spanking new. She's, as you heard, only on module 1, and she already sent us a deal for analysis. So if
she actually asked if we would partner with her.
She asked if we would
which
partner
is awesome.
with her, which is absolutely awesome, and I'm surprised that more of you haven't done the same thing. So we're going to teach Elizabeth and all of you in next week's call how to package it in a way that is very attractive, and or analyze it so that you know if it is actually attractive or not. So we're going to look at her deal as a group, And if it's a great deal, some of you may want to partner with Elizabeth. Some of you may say, you know what, I have more questions. So we're going to do that together next Monday.
How many of you would love to see a deal analyzed on the spot with Elizabeth? How many of you?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand. If that sounds like, let's just cut through the BS and the big story and see what a deal looks like. Here's the thing. We look at deals all the time. We just put 2 together very recently, including a 5-unit. And these deals get real when you analyze them and you put money on the table.
Yeah.
So
start talking about your deals.
Yeah.
First get to deals and then start talking about the deals.
By the way, Elizabeth, you said undecided.
Yes, sir.
You said undecided about FlipChick Unleashed. Are you decided yet?
Yeah, the thing is, my daughter, 8, has a presentation in church that day. There we have a children's week. So that's why I've been, struggling with deciding if I'll be able to make it or not. But I don't think I will be able to, because I'm preparing her for that presentation, and it's a big deal to her. Okay. I love to be around for that.
Okay, so there's a couple ways to think about this. And by the way, Elizabeth, we support you being there for your daughter. Now can I throw you a different way to look at it?
Sure.
Okay, so one thing that in my life, and I'm just going to share this with total transparency, we have a blended family, okay? And when holidays came about, as a blended family goes, you start to figure out where the kid's going to be, right?
Blended family on the East Coast and in Chicago, so not like other side of town. It's blended family with a 2.5-hour flight in between. Yeah,
and roughly 4 hours total in a day to deal with flights and disembarking and getting through security and all that. So here's the thing: in time, I recognized I could look at any situation and say, what is the feeling I want to create? What is the best possible outcome? Beth, you'll appreciate this. I call it the this or something better factor. And I used to be very hung up on making sure that we always had Christmas with the kids that would be with their mom in New Hampshire. So we're like, you know what? We want to have the kids for Christmas or Thanksgiving or another holiday or, same. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to miss Halloween. What if they look really cute in their silly masks? Okay. You get the idea what I'm saying, Elizabeth? You with me? Real quick? Okay.
Yes, I'm.
I didn't want to miss anything. And here's what happened. I started looking at what was really important. What were the essential elements of the experience that I didn't want to miss? And I started looking at, and I'll give you an example of a Halloween, okay? I said I wanted to have an awesome time connecting with my kids so we could have fun. Was it about going around and getting candy? No. Was it about that it was on October 31st? No. Was it about me having time with them at a time that was set aside to really be there with them? Yes. So at one point, we scheduled a trip to indoor water slides when we did have them here in Chicago so that we could have an awesome time with them. Now, we didn't have them for Halloween, but we did have an awesome time at an indoor water park that was dramatically more exciting, valuable, and memory creating by going to that water park. And I share that with you for a reason, I should say, than Halloween. Going to the water park was way more memory creating. And here's what happened. My mindset shifted to what is it that now you may relate to this in your situation. I'm going to share an example, and we honor you going to be there for your daughter. So don't for one second think that's not the case. Here's a thought. If you were to think about what is it about her presentation at church that's important to you, what is the experience that you would love to create? And if you were to go to FlipChick Unleashed and you had an opportunity to create another outstanding experience that shifted the way that you create experiences with your daughter to a level far beyond what you do right now, is there an opportunity there for this or something better? Could you tell her how important it is that you see everything she does? Could you make sure that someone gets a fantastic video? Could you talk to her before she goes out at the presentation like you would if you were there? Could you talk to her live on a FaceTime on your phone after she goes out? Could you create the experience that you would love just like you're there, and then come to FlipChick Unleashed, create an opportunity where you create connections, possibly create a partnership, take your real estate investing to the next level, and maybe create some memories with her on an awesome family vacation 90 days from now, someplace anywhere in the world. It's a
Yeah,
thought.
that would be definitely awesome. But my husband is not around either, so it's just me.
Okay.
I've been thinking.
Yeah. And maybe
I've
there's
been
someone else who could be
thinking
there with
about
her.
this.
Maybe
Yeah,
a sister,
nobody
a cousin, a
else.
friend.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm throwing out there as a different way of thinking, and this may not be the time to apply it.
Yeah.
Share this with you just because you know what? There's always a way to look at things and ask questions that helps you
Yeah.
see what's important to you. And
Yeah.
we honor that. We honor that opportunity for you. I don't know if there's
Yeah,
any-
you know,
Thank you.
as a mom, I've been in this position
you can relate to
many times
that,
where
yeah.
Mhm.
it's am I going to miss my kid's karate belt promotion, or am I going to have this other experience that is going to create an opportunity so that I can have more experiences with my kids? And I mean, I'll put it into really simple terms the way my mind thinks. And again, we're not trying to coerce you to skip this. And
This is
and
about
show up
you.
at Unleash.
This
Yeah.
is about you, Elizabeth.
It's really it's about
Absolutely.
what
Yeah.
what are we making more important maybe than it is. And again, we're not for a minute saying that your daughter's church thing is not important, but are we sacrificing something bigger so that we can show up in the way that we're used to showing up?
Or based on society's rules about,
or
oh my
based
gosh,
on-
if there's what would people think if
Yeah.
the mom's not at the church presentation?
So
Mhm.
I often have to look at
Advisors.
the sacrifices that I make, and we all make sacrifices. We might be sacrificing our full days, working 9 to 5 at a job, and it's expected. So it's not a sacrifice in most people's minds that you don't get to go on field trips every field trip, or you don't get to go and serve lunch at the kids' schools, because it's expected that you're working a job, or whatever your exact circumstances are. But what we look toward is, what would I absolutely love? So would you trade a day watching one particular pageant or whatever, the presentation that's going to be at church? Would you trade that for a 2-week Disney cruise with her? Or would you trade that for her college tuition? Or would you
If
trade
I
that for buying her first house?
If I can kind of share a little bit about my daughter.
Sure.
She's very shy, and she's a third grader going to fourth, and the first grade, second grade at school, they had her to make presentations, like read poems at school. She would not accept. The first year I tried to make her, she didn't progress in the stages, and the second year she flat out say, "Mommy, no." Now at church, the children's week was coming up, and I was told she raised her hand to preach on a Sunday morning before everybody. And then I said, oh wow, maybe she didn't realize what it entails. And then I called her. She said, yes, I want to be the pastor for the day.
I love that.
That moved me to tears. And and one thing that I know about my daughter is, whatever she puts her mind to do, she will do it. If she doesn't want to do it, there's nothing you can do. So this will be more like her breaking forth, whatever has been holding her back in the past. This will be like, if she eventually got to do it, even at this point, it's not even solid yet that she will get the art, so to say. But I'm putting the presentation together for her, and she's been really, really, excited about it. So that's the major reason.
So I have one
so
I appreciate that, and I love that you love your daughter so much. I'm going to challenge you to think of one different way. And then, again, like, this is not about you. It's FlipChick Unleashed. It's about how we as moms show up, and sometimes we forget about showing up for ourselves. So I want you to reverse the roles. So you're the one who's giving a presentation at church, and she's the one who has an opportunity. Let's say it's for attending a college, or attending an opportunity which is going to provide for her to be able to take care of herself for the rest of her life. So reverse the roles.
Oh, I wouldn't hold her back. She would go to what she needs to do.
Yeah. So let's
definitely, if I've heard about this before we committed to that, absolutely. I would be, because when Nate,
want you to make your choice, and we don't want to.
Yeah.
You're going to make your choice, and your results are going to show up based on the choices that you make. Maybe I would encourage you, have the conversation with your daughter. Don't say, you know what, I'm not going to be there, but say, this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for you to recognize what's important, how you can show up today and 10 years from now and 20 years from now. So we certainly honor you. We appreciate your sharing.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank you so much.
Value out of this sharing. How many, from a show of hands, first of all, appreciate Elizabeth's sharing and can see how one of the greatest tools we use is looking at things from different perspective, and all the rules. What we're sharing here is a set of rules. Everyone here, just show your hands if you can see how rules apply to what we make important and what we don't, and how there's always a different way of looking at it. Right. Okay, that's just about everybody's hands.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
For playing along.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Stay on the call, though.
Bye.
All right, we're just going to just mute you down.
Sure. Okay, so again, we're going quarter by quarter. So after 7 quarters, after 21 months, you have replaced the amount of money that you used to need to work for. And if you're banking it, so this is my little plug for compounding. If you aren't going out and spending that extra money, because we're not assuming that you actually are in desperation and can only afford to pay your basic needs. This is the money that you're creating above and beyond your current lifestyle. So ideally, now you've banked $31,500. So, I'm for those of you who aren't super math savvy, that's because we're adding up all of those quarters, and not every quarter was at $9,000. So our annual passive income after 7 quarters, it's going to cover that $3,500 a month. And now you every single year have $42,000 coming into your account, which is, it's enough to cover your basic needs, so you can eliminate any insecurity that you have, any financial insecurity that you have. And again, that, subconsciously something opens up when you know that you don't have to worry. I know, Nate, some of you guys have heard him say, how sure are you that you can go get a glass of water? You don't have to worry about it. You're not parched. You're not in the middle of a desert. You're not desperate for, I don't know, where is that glass of water going to come from? So this is creating that in your life, that you're as certain to be able to take care of yourself, your family, your immediate needs as you are that you can go to the kitchen right now and get a glass of water. All right, so step 3, these are ways for you to fast track to that total financial freedom. So some of you might look at that 21 months and think, holy crap, 21 months is a long time. I assure you it's not. Some of you have been on the program for 12 months already and more. And, this is the way to fast track.
Okay, so the first thing you can do is you could flip 1 house per month rather than just per quarter. So, now you're getting 3 every
so 7
quarter.
months. You could get there in 7 months or 8 months, whatever your number is.
Yep. And again, we don't share these scenarios to limit you. We share them to illustrate. They're illustrative only. Okay.
And I want to take one. Remember, this is following the formula, which means you don't have to have any of your own money to get started with this. So if you have a nest egg and you want to be doing, 3 houses per month, I was doing 7 houses at a time. I don't personally recommend that from a lifestyle perspective. It's not what I loved, but it certainly got me faster.
Starbucks loved it.
Starbucks loved it.
Starbucks, and what was that wine brand? Anyways. You could rehab and occupy a home using a 203K loan.
So that's one way that you can sort of double dip in. Your mortgage is also, the money that you're paying for your mortgage to live is also the money that you're paying to purchase this home.
And to repair it.
So basically you're minimizing your expenses and maximizing your equity.
Exactly.
So another great way is you rehab a multi-unit. So basically, and we have, if my lifestyle allowed for this, I would do this in a heartbeat. I would go and buy a 2-unit or a 4-unit, live in one of them, let my tenants pay the rent.
If all that mattered was like the best deal and profiting, this is like a jackpot.
I mean, frankly, I'm happy to fix up a house. The house that we live in right now was a gut rehab, and
It was condemned.
It was condemned. It was a gut rehab condemned. We bought it, fixed it up. We live in it now. I highly, highly recommend that you double dip and fix up houses. You know, don't go buy. Well, let me qualify this. When you're getting started, you don't have to buy your luxury, you know, multi-million-dollar dream home. That's the end goal that you do at some point. You're going to go in and say, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Write it down, put it on your vision board, get a picture of it, practice living in it and buying it and all that stuff. But remember, what we're talking about, what we're teaching is the vehicle to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, again, we are the example. We're teaching you what we've done, what we are currently doing. So we are living in a house that was a foreclosure, that was a gut rehab, that we fixed up, and we live in it now. You know, if we didn't have so darn many kids, and travel so much, maybe we would buy another one, or maybe we're actually looking at buying another gut rehab right now so that we can live in another house that has tons of equity that we built into it because of this business that we have. Airbnb, this is another one. It's been a few years since I've done this.
We had fun with it.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Talk about meeting cool people.
You know, again, we're talking about how do you fast track to that total financial freedom, meaning that you're living the life of your dreams. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not, hey, today I'm making $50,000 a year. Tomorrow I want to make $1 million a year. It's the steps that it takes to fast track to that financial freedom, that total financial freedom, meaning you certainly don't have to work. You certainly don't need a job. You are able to be there for family members who are going through cancer. You are able to be there for your daughter's church activities. You are able to be there for elderly parents, for grandkids, for whoever you want to show up for in whatever capacity, financially or with time. So the next one, Airbnb. As I was building my rental portfolio, so, you know, back before I had, you know, over 100 units, the Airbnb, I actually rented out a room in my house, and it was bringing in like $900 a month. So guess what?
We met some really cool people.
Super cool people doing this.
From all over the world, France. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, we don't do it anymore, but it was a way to fast track. It was like, hey, if I can do this and get an extra rental property or pay off a rental house faster and then increase our passive income. The name of the game here is increasing passive income. Passive income is what's going to give you total financial freedom. You're never going to work your way into wealth. It's what you're doing with the money and how you're growing that money that is going to create that total financial freedom and that lifestyle that you're dreaming of.
And here's the last one to think about, and there's a lot more. We could just beat this one to death, but if you live below your current means, so start lowering your expenses. And in many ways, you can do this in a short-term way. Maybe you sell the house that you're in if you own it outright, and you buy something way smaller or a lot lower price, maybe in a less expensive area. You free up that those expenses.
Yeah, these are
you free up some cash. You can pull some cash out by doing that, and maybe you sell what you have. Or if you don't own it outright, you just get a lower payment by buying something smaller or less expensive. And you start, you go back to basics and you start to build from, let's purge and lower some expenses.
Yeah, and
there's a bazillion ways to do that. There's books like there's whole books on that.
Yeah, so. If 7 quarters or 14 quarters, however many houses, however many units you needed, that's how many quarters it'll take to get you to your security number so that you know that you never have to work again and you can still take care of yourself. And then after that, the total financial freedom. So again, you don't look at these and think, oh, I have to flip a house a month, or oh, I have to rehab and live in a house, or I have to live in a multi-unit. These are all things. These are sort of outside of the scope of what we teach, because what we teach is going to get you there in a very solid way. But if you're like, hey, you know what, I want to be there in 6 months, then there's ways that you can fast track it. There's ways that you can move forward faster. So I'm curious now. I know Nate wants to. He's added a whole training. He's like sitting over here writing notes.
I can't wait to get into this because we talked about a lot of things that might create some fear, and I wanted to deal with that right now. But I want to make sure that you get through.
So I first want Nate to take over the mouse. And
what do you want to do? Where are we going?
So I want to, by a show of hands, who has some more clarity on exactly
like the goals, the
what
steps
they need to do. When you think in terms of, oh, it's only it's only 14 units, or it's only 6 units, you know, it's only 20 units. You know, that's a fraction of what we have today. And here's the beautiful thing. And again, this isn't going to be a training about compounding, but when you start compounding, and you guys follow us on the FlipChick RIA, you see that was it last week? What's today? Today's Monday.
Today's Monday.
So last Monday we bought a 5 unit.
We keep this up though, it'll be Tuesday.
And maybe a month before that, a few weeks before that, we bought a 2 unit. So you can see what we are living is exactly what we're teaching. So starting with 1 flip, 1 rental property. And then what happens is your rental income, remember we talked about that pile of money is $31,500. That pile of money will buy you, we call it a free property. So you take your passive income and you start reinvesting that. Then you start to compound. And when you're compounding, you get exponential growth. So by exponential growth, it means that when we're buying our 5 units and our 2 units, then it's coming from the rental income that we have. So we don't even have to flip houses anymore. So we can reinvest the profits from the passive income to keep building the portfolio. So when we talk about wealth, you know, certainly financially, wealth is accumulating and growing a pile of money. You know, we can talk
Financial wealth.
Financial wealth. We know that wealth is really about spending time with people that we love. It's about making a difference. It's about contributing. Today's training is very specific about numbers. It's about the goals, financial goals, setting them, reaching them, and understanding how quickly you can get there, how you can fast track that, and then, you know, really, really move into that total financial freedom. When we say total financial freedom, we mean that that's where you start to be able to have the jet lifestyle, the living on an island, traveling to an island lifestyle. That's the end goal. That maybe we don't actually do it, but that's what we're capable of doing. That's what our resources will provide for us.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
All right. So you've got the clear path ahead of you. I want to make sure that we answer any of your questions.
Any questions about what we've covered? I know all the hands went up.
Go ahead and start putting your questions in, and I want to ask you, with a show of hands, how many of you look at the idea of creating your financial security, creating a complete sense of financial security? How many of you have fear about the steps that you need to take? And by the way, if you don't have fear, if you don't see some fear, you're probably not going in the right direction. Oh, goody. That means that I'm on deck, but now I was on deck.
Every time you step up, you're going to have a little fear. And I share this regularly. I have some fear when I think about going from, right now our biggest multi-unit is 11 units. And I've been looking at 104. There's a 104 unit apartment building.
We just looked at we looked at the units, we looked at the different properties all together, like right in the same area, and it is awesome. It's really exciting. Good. All at once.
And also creates a little bit of fear. It's our property manager is actually bringing on more staff to be able to manage it.
So just about everyone's hands went up. How many of you would like to have some tools right now as you're moving forward to create your financial security? First of all, how many feel as though you have a sense of what the goals are, the milestones are to create financial security, because we did this training? So you got a clear picture of the goals that you have. Okay, so just about everyone's hands have gone up. Okay.
Who's going to move fast in that direction?
Who's going to move fast in that direction starting right now, because you're going to block out any distractions, shiny things, or squirrels? Okay, hands are going up. Okay, good. That's everyone's. Okay, now, how many of you would like some tools right now to just make that fear suddenly seem insignificant, something you could just flick off your desk? Ooh, everyone's hands. Awesome. Okay, good. Wow, even Beth's happy hand went up. I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about. I love this. It's just popped into my mind because fear seems to be like the biggest thing holding most people back, and it's awesome.
So just next week, live deal and opportunity analysis. We already talked a little bit about that. This is everything following is bonus from me.
This is bonus. I'm inspired.
I am going to get my notepad because I know he's going to teach something new, and so I'm a student along with you right now.
When I'm inspired, I have to do this, and I want to give you the best we can on every week's call. So, ready for this? This is I borrow this, and I've learned this and practiced this, and this is from my buddy Tim Ferriss as you talked about in 4-Hour Workweek, which by the way is not what it means, and that's another conversation. But this is an awesome exercise. One of the things I'm going to share with you, this is called fear setting and escaping paralysis. Fear setting and escaping paralysis. So I'm going to start with a couple quotes. Many a false step was made by standing still. Love that one. Because standing still it's passively failing. Okay, when you do nothing, you get what? You get nothing, right? Okay, the next thing is, named must your fear be before banish it you can. That's Yoda.
Yoda.
I love that. Yoda's awesome. He's alive and well in my heart. Okay, so here's a quick story. Everyone tune in because this story is really cool. How many want to hear a story? How many love stories? Go ahead and type in what, if you love stories. Type it in. Don't even raise your hands. Oh my God, I love stories. Type it in, okay? Because I'm pumped. I'm telling you, this is a game changer stuff. This is inspiring for me. And that's great. Degraded audio quality. I hope everyone can hear me still. Story time with Nate. Love stories. Okay, love that. That's the best way to come back from
bedtime story.
Okay, listen. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. 20 feet in closing. Run! Hans didn't speak Portuguese, but the meaning was clear enough. Haul ass. His sneakers gripped firmly on the jagged rock, and he drove his chest forward toward 3,000 feet of nothing. He held his breath on the final step, and the panic drove him to near unconsciousness. His vision blurred at the edges, closing to a single pinpoint of light, and then he floated. The all-consuming celestial blue of the horizon hit his visual field an instant after he realized that the thermal updraft had caught him and the wings of the paraglider. Fear was behind him on the mountaintop, and thousands of feet above the resplendent green rainforest and pristine white beaches of Copacabana, Hans Keeling had seen the light. That was on Sunday. On Monday, Hans returned to his law office in Century City, Los Angeles, their posh corporate haven, and promptly handed his 3-week notice. For nearly 5 years, he had faced his alarm clock with the same dread. I have to do this for another 40 to 45 years? He had once slept under his desk at the office after a punishing half-done project, only to wake up and continue on it the next morning. That same morning, he had made himself a promise 2 more times and I'm out of here. Strike number 3 came the day before he left for his Brazilian vacation. You might love bedtime stories, but this is one that might keep you up. We all make these promises to ourselves, and Hans had done it before as well, but things were now somehow different. He was different. He had realized something while arcing in slow circles toward the earth. Risks weren't that scary once you took them. His colleagues told him what he expected to hear. He was throwing it all away. He was an attorney on his way to the top. What the hell did he want? Hans didn't know exactly what he wanted, but he had tasted it. On the other hand, he did know what bored him to tears, and he was done with it. No more passing days as the living dead. No more dinners where his colleagues compared cars, riding on the sugar high of a new BMW purchase until someone bought a more expensive Mercedes. It was over. Immediately a strange shift began. Hans felt for the first time in a long time at peace with himself and what he was doing. He had always been terrified of plane turbulence, as if he might die with the best inside him. But now he could fly through a violent storm sleeping like a baby. Strange indeed. More than a year later, he was getting unsolicited job offers from law firms. But by then he had started Nexus Surf, a premier surf adventure company based in the tropical paradise of Florianopolis, Brazil. He had met his dream girl, a carioca with caramel-colored skin named Tatiana, and spent most of his time relaxing under palm trees or treating clients to the best time of their lives. Is this what he had been so afraid of? These days, he often sees his former self in the underjoyed and overworked professionals he takes out on the waves. Waiting for the swell, the true emotions come out. God, I wish I could do what you do. His reply is always the same. You can. The setting sun reflects off the surface of the water, providing a zen-like setting for a message he knows is true. It's not giving up to put your current path on indefinite pause. He could pick up his law career exactly where he left off if he wanted to, but that is the furthest thing from his mind. As they paddle back to the shore after an awesome session, his clients get a hold of themselves and regain their composure. They set foot on shore, and reality sinks its fangs in. Oh, I would, but I can't really throw it all away. He just has to laugh. So I share this story with you for a reason. As you're looking to create your financial security, and you're getting to step forward, and you feel that fear, conquering fear equals defining it. How many, by a show of hands, have sat down with pen and paper and actually set down on paper your fear, defined it in detail? How many of you have done that? How many of you would love to know how to do that? Show your hands. How many of you would love to know how to define your fear? So everyone's hands going up. All right, so here's how it works. Here's a quote first before I do that from Seneca. So this is about defining your fear. This is from Seneca. Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared? So as you start looking at defining your fear, I'm going to give you the exact steps and the exact tools, but I want to share a couple more things with you. First of all, when you define your nightmare and you imagine it, you've already dealt with it. We have a moment in life that I like to call the dirt in the face moment. And I want you to write this down. Go experience your dirt in the face moment. Picture yourself laying on a slab with all your family looking down at you, and you're gone. But you can see them. You can't speak. There's nothing you can do but just see them and feel and sense what you love about them and a life that you loved, and what's the one message burning in your mind that you'd like to share with them about everything they fear. Defining your nightmare, your worst case scenario, changes it, and it changes your relationship with it. Okay, fear itself is quite fear-inducing. So I want you to just really reflect on this as I share a little bit more, and then I'm going to give you real quick in just a minute or two the last steps, the exact steps to do something called fear setting. This lesson has been a life changer for me. As a matter of fact, I changed everything in my life. My health, my relationships, everything, my businesses, the way I make a living. I changed it by following this process when I did my dirt in the face moment. So here's, now, you haven't completely set your fears yet, Jesse and Dan, because I'm going to tell you how to do it, and I want you to really go through this process. Most who avoid quitting their jobs entertain the thought that their course will improve with time or increases in income. Oh, I'll get more money. Maybe I'll get more vacation time. This seems valid and is a tempting hallucination. When a job is boring, uninspiring, instead of pure hell. So what do? We soften it. You know, if you have pure hell, okay, if someone's got a stapler on your eyelid, or they're beating you up, right? Or something is horrible and horrifying, you're ready to make a change. But if you soften it, if anything is less than absolutely pure hell, it can be endured. You can rationalize it. You can be clever about it. But when you make it your hell and you decide, I am willing to do whatever it takes to live the life that I love, to create complete financial security like we talked about tonight, here are the steps. How many of you, real quick, show of hands, would absolutely love to know the steps right now so you can go do it? All right, that's everybody. So here's exactly what I want you to do. And if you have questions, go ahead and type them in. 1, define your nightmare. Write down the absolute worst thing that could happen if you did whatever you're considering doing. Define your worst nightmare. So get it into complete painstaking detail. Would this end your world? Would it end your life? On a scale from 1 to 10, how bad would it be? What would the permanent impact be? What would the temporary impact be? What would actually happen? Step 2. Now write this down. What steps could you take to repair the damage or get things back on the upswing, even if you had to do it temporarily to get yourself back on your feet? You know, I think about when I closed my marketing firm and threw everything out the second floor window. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I'm fat, I'm unhappy, I'm miserable in my life. All I have now is money. but I don't have anything else. I've lost, and then I lost the money, right? I knew that I could easily open another marketing firm. I knew that I could easily start getting clients to do work that I didn't love anymore. You can always go back to having a job, to getting employed. You can always go back to use the skills you have. So what steps could you take to repair the damage, right? If you made this big move of creating financial security through investing in real estate. Now, step 3, what are the outcomes or benefits, both temporary and permanent, of the more likely or probable scenarios? So what are the outcomes or benefits, both temporary or permanent, of more probable, more likely scenarios? So you've defined the nightmare, but what are the definite or probable positive outcomes? Maybe these are internal. Your confidence, your self-esteem will go up. Or maybe they're external. What would the impact be? Give it a scale from 1 to 10. How likely is it that you could produce a moderately good income, or a great income, or an astoundingly, dramatically better income by going through the milestones of creating your financial freedom? Have less intelligent people done this before and pulled it off? Margaret and I talk about this all the time. We've seen some absolute dumbasses succeed in real estate. Dumbasses, obnoxious, arrogant, actually seemingly low intelligence, socially inept people become incredibly successful in real estate. And we know all of you are brilliant, caring, high integrity people. Step 4, if you're fired from your job or closed your business today, what could you do to get things under financial control? So imagine it. It happens today. Everything from step 1 through 3 just happened. If you quit your job to test other options, how could you later get back on the same career track if you absolutely had to? Everything goes to hell right now. Step 5, what are you putting off out of fear? This is a big one. What have you put off? What are you putting off? What do you believe you might continue to put off? Out of fear. Usually what we most fear doing is what we most need to do. Fear of the unknown, fear of outcomes. But once you define the worst case scenario and you accept it and then you do it, everything changes. Here, you might want to, Tim says you might want to tattoo this on your forehead, so I'm going to suggest that. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. I love this one. Person's success in life can usually be measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations he or she is willing to have. Be willing to do something uncomfortable every day. Now, number 6, what is it costing you financially, emotionally, physically to postpone action? So far, you all have amazing access to a formula that is proven to create incredible financial success, security, freedom, time with family, everything that you would love. What's it costing you to not take action? Now, don't just look at the potential downside. It's equally important to measure the absolutely horrible cost of not taking action. If you don't pursue this, if you don't take action on what excites you, where will you be in 1 year from now or 5 years from now? What's it going to cost you to not take action? You only got so much life left. That's that dirt in the face moment that I talked about. How many of you can connect with that? Look out 10 years and know with 100% certainty that it's a path of disappointment and regret. If risk is the likelihood of an irreversible negative outcome, then isn't inaction your greatest risk of all? Step 7, ask this question: what are you waiting for? If you can't answer this without resorting to the previously rejected concept of good timing, or I'm busy doing something else, or I've got this other commitment or other obligation, you're afraid just like the rest of the world, just like everybody else. So measure the cost of inaction. Realize the unlikelihood and repairability of most of your missteps, considering you have access to a formula that's proven, and develop the most important habit of those who excel and enjoy doing so. Take action on what scares you first. That's fear setting. How many of you took the time to write that down and are going to go contemplate that between now and our next call?
I did. I have, can I share something?
Yeah, I'd love some shares. That's everyone's hands went up, by the way. So go ahead.
So as Nate was going through this, I'm taking these furious notes here, and I realized, and this is like huge vulnerability for me. So we have this 104 unit series of apartment buildings, and we've gone out to look at them. We've got the property manager who's also a realtor, talking and not exactly negotiating, but they've gone out many times. They're starting to look at each of the units. We haven't actually written a contract for it yet. And it scares the crap out of me because we're talking about a $5 million property. And I have it in my head, well, they're going to take $4.5 million, but guess what? There's a fear that's gotten in the way of taking a step. And I realized as you're going through this,
I'm proud of you.
That's I'm thinking, what's the cost of not doing that? And I have, so some of my fears, here's some of my fears, is that it's certainly a bigger deal than I've ever done in a single transaction. And it's going to require, a significant amount of capital, or maybe that's my story, is that it's
actually not that much, though, if you think about it. Because even $1 million deposit for the kind of profit center that this is nothing. Right.
So then as I've been spending my alone time thinking about this opportunity, I think, okay, well, how can I leverage what I have? Which I realize is exactly what I teach you guys not to do, which is don't think about what you have, think about your profit center. And, I find myself, I tell myself, oh, it's easy when it's just a flip because that's not very much money, or it's easy when it's a rental because that's not hardly any money at all. And then I am dealing with with my own 104 unit opportunity and kind of psyching myself out about it. So.
Well, you get a partner in this.
I know. So I think we're going to write up a contract tomorrow.
Why not? I completely believe in the deal, and I believe in us.
So what's the 1 year? I mean, we're talking about this incredible return that, it's essentially almost doubling our portfolio. And, would I double my income right now? Hell yeah, I would. How
many of you would love to hear about us doing a deal that doubles our income, knowing that we teach you how to, do a deal that doubles yours? Quick show of hands. Boldly go. Yeah, that's just about everyone's here, except for Beth.
My heart's racing a little bit talking about it.
Babe, when I'm sitting with
you, FlipChicks.
When I'm sitting with you, my heart's always racing, just for the record. So, all right, I'd love to have some gold nuggets from that story and from the sharing. So if anyone could just raise your hand if something jumped out at you. This is one of my favorite lessons to teach and to mentor. And every time I teach it, I get more out of it than the last time. How many of you, for fear setting, really just something jumped out at you and there's a gold nugget? I'd like you to raise your hand if you have a gold nugget to share, so that we can have you just okay. So Elizabeth has a gold nugget. Hi, Elizabeth. So what's your gold nugget?
Yes, it's interesting because I was thinking, I literally went through these steps unconsciously this morning, because when I was setting that email to send to you, I'm like, what are you going to think about this? Will you say no? Or you will think maybe I'm too, forward about it. I was like, okay. So I settled down, took in some breath, and just said, okay, what have I got to lose? The worst that would happen is you would tell me no. The worst that would happen is maybe you would tell me you did it wrong. So I settled that in my heart, in my mind. Yes, I would accept a no. I would accept you're scolding, if it comes to that.
Elizabeth,
I would just jump forth.
Let me ask you something. Do you think it's worth
Yes.
to ask and get a no, or no maybe 5 years from now that you never even bothered to step up and ask?
Exactly. So I would rather get a no, possibly multiple no's, now than 5 years later and I'm like, you should have asked.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely I subconsciously went through this today.
Yeah.
So it's something I will definitely dig deeper into to see other things, because the fear that I have is that of hearing no.
Yeah. Well, that's
Right.
what people have here, because we all have this little voice that says, "What if I'm not enough? What if I don't do it right? What if I make mistakes?" So thanks, Elizabeth, for sharing. That's awesome, and a way to step up.
Thank you.
Thank you. So how many of you got something really valuable out of this story, and how many took the time to just really put your thoughts down and to go through the process as I shared it? Okay, good. So keep your hands up if it's okay if we make you live and just ask you a question or two. Keep your hands up if that's okay. Real quick. Okay, cool. So Stephanie and Walter, we're going to go ahead and unmute you. Hi, Stephanie and Walter. Or is it Stephanie or is it Walter?
It's Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Great. We're really good. So go ahead and tell me what it was like as you heard about the fear setting and some of the, not only the story, maybe the story I shared, but just the steps. What jumped out for you?
That I've been holding back a little bit on filling out paperwork for to try to get additional financing so that we can get some more properties. The whole process is tedious, and it feels like it's not about the property, it's about our finances. You know what I mean? How much money we have, our credit score, all that. And
that's not true, but you still subconsciously pretend that it is, and that holds you back. Right?
Yeah, it feels like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we still have our one property, and it's like, oh my God, this is going to take forever to get to the point where we want to be. So, but this process helped me.
Well, you have some goals and milestones now from today's training.
Yes, definitely.
You can do multiple flips and fast track this. So, maybe right now it would be really good to go through those steps and look at your dirt in the face moment and say, what's your legacy going to be? Is it going to be to dabble, or is it going to be to crush it?
Right. So this helped me. Yes, this helped me. So yes, that's what I'm going to do.
And if you're not sure what to do,
get on the paperwork.
Do you have anyone? If you don't know what to do next, you think you have anyone you might be able to ask?
Yeah, you guys.
Right on. That's what we're doing. All right. Thanks for stepping up, Stephanie. Appreciate it. Say hi to Walter too.
Oh, I will do that.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so thanks for all the shares. I appreciate all the other hands going up for sharing. I know that this has been a lengthy call.
Can I share one last thing?
Yeah.
So if you've made a decision to face a fear and to move forward, and I'm going to tell you what I just did. So I just texted my property manager / realtor, and I said, let's write up the offer tomorrow for the 104 units. And she said, yay, fist bump, lots of clappy hands. And then I said, holy crap, LOL. And this is her response. She said, you made my day. My dad had surgery today, didn't go as planned, was at the hospital literally all day, just got home, thank God he's okay. And, basically it just reminded me that we aren't doing this just for ourselves. Like I know that even in the life of my property manager, this is a game changer for her. To add, this is going to increase. She has currently 400 units, so adding another 100 units is a game changer. It's going to step up her business, which means providing for more people, which means, quality housing for more people. Right now, the property is not being managed well and the tenants aren't being well taken care of. And you don't know when you make a decision to step up, you don't know how wide that impact is going to be, but it will be. It probably to the point that you don't even know. I mean, I look at the FlipChick RIA now, and there's comments from people who are taking our course and flipping houses that they're not part of our mentor program, but they're doing something. They're making a difference.
They're taking action from the online training and moving on to their second, third. One girl said she's on her 5th deal because of the course. And it's like, just so you don't need us?
Yeah,
I mean,
and how many lives are being impacted there?
It's awesome. It's great news.
So those of you who are on the call with us, you've made a decision. You've identified a area to move forward with. Do something right now. Maybe it's sending a text message. Maybe it's staying up for another 20 minutes and finishing your PFS, or some paperwork that needs to get done to be sent over. Maybe it's just filling out an application for the bank. Whatever that next step is for you, do something within the next 24 hours to make major progress in that direction. Like I did. Holy crap.
Jennifer said, be willing to do something uncomfortable every day. Beth said sure, so Beth wanted to raise her hand, but her happy hand wasn't raising, so she has something to share. Tiffany said thank you for sharing. Elizabeth said clap, clap, clap. I said, wow, my partner here in crime is having us put an offer in on 104 units.
And you're leaving in the morning for New Hampshire.
For about
8 hours.
8 or 10 hours, something like that. Okay, that's good. That's great. Well, I'll hold up my end on that deal, no problem, because we're a team. All right, so we're gonna share Beth, because Beth said she got some nuggets out of there, and I'm gonna unmute Beth. Beth, gosh, is that okay still? Because I'm assuming that's what you were responding to. Just comment in if it's okay to make you live for a second to share what you got out of the fear setting exercise. Going once, going twice, sure, okay.
Oh, Jennifer just emailed an offer on a property I looked at last week. Jennifer, you're awesome.
Awesome.
Jennifer B.
With fantastic spacing on your message, by the way. That's very unique. Okay, so Beth, here we go. And hi, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Hello. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Hey. Tell us.
So my gold nugget. Well, I think my gold nugget, as I've listened to all these questions, is I have been doing this very thing of going through a lot of fear. And I just wanted to say that I'm super proud of myself that I have been taking these steps with all these fear, and I'm progressing. I got all my paperwork in with the loan company, got all my docs up, and I was super proud of myself for that. So I just... going through this last year of my life, definitely took huge steps in fear directions that I was super uncomfortable.
Way to go.
Yeah. So that's my gold nugget.
Awesome. Well, you know what? And that's an exercise, anytime anyone says, oh, I've got that figured out, that's a sign that it's probably time to recognize that you don't. So it's awesome that you obviously see this as a process, you revisit it, and I'm sure you see that as a huge source of growth for you.
Yes, and that it works. My gold nugget is to say that it works. It really does.
Awesome.
Because last year I made less than $10,000, and I'm making a lot more than that. But it was stepping into that fear. Some of the biggest things I was fearful of, I took a step, and I'm okay, and I'm better on the other side, and getting better and better every day in every way.
That's awesome. We're super proud of you.
Yeah, good job, Beth. That's fantastic. And so, did you like the story then, the Brazil story, Rio de Janeiro?
I did. I put my feet up, and I got all relaxed, and I almost went and got my pillow because it was story time, but it was too far away.
And then you're like, oh my God, paragliding. Crap, that's scary. And for the record, I've done it, but it is scary as hell. And there's a letting go that happens where you're like, oh, this is very relaxing and quiet. That's the biggest shock is, wow, it's very quiet. Okay. Well, thanks, Beth, for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Beth. I appreciate that.
And are you going to be at Unleashed?
My pleasure. But say again?
Are you going to be at Unleashed?
No, I am not.
Okay. Well,
yes.
Sad.
Yes, I would agree. It is very close to another event that I'm traveling to with Mary Morrissey. So, yeah.
We love we had a great
Yeah, we just talked to Mary. As a matter of fact, we also mentioned that we have Beth in common. And I had a great chat with her week before last, so it was awesome.
Yeah, tell her we said hi if you get a chance to talk to her.
Yeah,
I will. I'll be in Laguna Beach with her in August.
awesome.
Sweet.
All right, Beth, we'll have a fantastic evening.
You too, you guys. Thank you for all the great teaching. Appreciate it.
All right, bye. So that's it for tonight's call, guys. Everyone, you're awesome. We loved the mentor call tonight. Obviously, you're going to get your copy of it, so stay tuned for that. And we appreciate you engaging and stepping up. This call's been a blast, and we hope to see you and with your tribe of 10, or at least the one that you want to inspire and bring to FlipChick Unleashed with you. And we'll look forward to seeing you real soon. Thanks for the notes. Thanks for the comments about the call. You are welcome. You bet. Stephanie, Jesse, Jennifer, you got it. Everyone have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.